I wasn't alone. I could feel presences surrounding me, and then I sensed her, my friend, who had passed away 20 years ago. We had shared such a deep spiritual connection when she was alive, and I had buried her myself after her tragic accident. But here she was, not as a memory, but as a living presence. What if I told you I left my body, met my deceased friend, and was forced to come back? What I'm about to share isn't a dream, nor a hallucination. This is my near-death experience, which I lived through in 2022, and it completely changed how I see life, death, and love. Before we dive in, welcome to Let's Lift the Veil. If you're interested in life after death, spirituality, and NDE stories, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. And of course, like this video if you're curious about what happens after we die. Now let me tell you how it all started. I will never forget that day, in December 2022, in Iran. I was at the clinic with my 2 children for their routine medical checkups. My 12-year-old son had just finished his tests, and I was holding my 8-year-old daughter when suddenly an intense heat spread through my entire body. I felt weak, my legs couldn't support me anymore, and everything started to blur. I asked my son for a wafer, hoping it would help stabilize me, but as soon as I put it in my mouth, everything went dark. Yet, it wasn't just unconsciousness, it was something else entirely. Almost instantly, I became aware that I had left my body. It wasn't vague or dreamlike. I knew I had separated from my physical form, and strangely, I wasn't afraid. I was lucid in a way I've never been before. My mind was clear, my thoughts were sharp and fast. Around me, I wasn't seeing things with my eyes, or hearing with my ears. I was perceiving everything directly, through a sense that had nothing to do with physical senses. I found myself in a luminous space, bathed in a soft, gentle light that didn't hurt my eyes. The colors, how can I even describe them? Shades of green and orange, but unlike anything we know on Earth. And the silence, it wasn't empty, it was a profound, fulfilling silence, full of peace and comfort, and absolute serenity. I wasn't alone. I could feel presences surrounding me, and then I sensed her, my friend, who had passed away 20 years ago. We had shared such a deep spiritual connection when she was alive, and I had buried her myself after her tragic accident. But here she was, not as a memory, but as a living presence. We were walking along a winding mountain path, slowly ascending, and I felt no exhaustion, no pain. It was all so natural. Then I perceived messages, not through sound, but through direct understanding. They told me I had to go back. My children still needed me, and I wasn't allowed to cross the barrier that stood before me. I could feel this invisible boundary, yet absolute. I wasn't permitted to go further, because my time hadn't come yet. And in that place, I realized something profound. There was no heaven or hell, just peace, tenderness, affection. Everything was made of love. There was no judgment, no fear, only kindness. I also understood something fundamental. The meaning of life is love and recognition. Not rituals, not religious obligations, just love. When I opened my eyes, I was back in my body, and I felt an overwhelming weight on my shoulders, a heaviness that reminded me of the transition I had just made. A nurse was gently slapping my face, saying,
"You're back, sir."
Then I saw my children's worried faces. I hugged them tightly, filled with a strange mix of sadness and relief. My life, behind the veil. Since that day, something in me has changed. I'm still a Muslim, but I no longer practice religion the way I used to. Rituals have lost their importance to me. I realized that spirituality lies elsewhere, in love, in kindness. I've become gentler, less greedy, more patient, and I don't take life so seriously anymore. When I think back to this experience, I still feel that deep peace and unshakable certainty that words can't really describe. I've always been a rational person, but this was completely different. I didn't see a tunnel or a blinding light, but I found myself in a bright, peaceful space filled with colors I can't even name, with shades that simply don't exist here. What struck me the most was the unique way of communicating. No need for words, no sounds. Everything was perceived directly, instantly. The presence of my long-deceased friend was undeniable, as if time had completely lost its meaning. She wasn't alone. There were other beings, kind and caring, and some were passionately urging me to return for my children. I didn't get any grand revelation about the universe, but I came back with one clear certainty. Everything there was love, friendship, and absolute peace. No judgment, no heaven or hell, just pure kindness. I tried sharing my experience with others, but few believed me. Some tried to explain it scientifically, rationalizing it away. But deep inside, I know what I lived through. Even if I say that it wasn't real in the traditional sense, it remains the clearest, most vivid memory of my life. And I hold on to this conviction: in the end, we all find peace. There is no hell, no heaven to fear. There is only love. Thank you for watching and listening to this story. Now I'd really love to hear from you. Do you believe there is something after death? Have you ever experienced something that changed your life forever? Let me know in the comments. I read every single reply. And if this video resonated with you, give it a like, share it, and of course, subscribe for more stories and thoughts about life, death, and spirituality. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. See you soon.